Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean. It's my prediction video for the Lawrence Okolie-Isaac Chamberlain fight coming up this Saturday night at the O2 Arena. Now, I'm very excited about this fight. I think it's going to be really good. I give credit to both of them for stepping up this early to take it on. Lawrence Okolie, I think, has had 7 fights. Isaac Chamberlain, 9 possibly, maybe 10, something like that. But very, very early on in their careers. So it's not something that they needed to do as such. So they are, you could say, going above and beyond the call of duty, what you would expect of someone from this, at this stage of their career. But I think this is kind of indicative of what's going on right now in British boxing, because there's so much going on. There's so many people making moves, so many people trying to make a name for themselves that, you know, you've got to do something if you want to get your name out there and if you want to establish yourself as a real player in the game. So, yeah, I like that. I like the fact they're not trying to mess around for like 15, 20 fights against journeymen. They're trying to look for the best challenges they can get at this stage, and they're definitely a good challenge for each other. Now, they don't like each other. I think it's obviously really a professional rivalry in the first place. They're both from London. They're both similar age. They're both obviously cruiserweights. So it was a natural rival. They were natural rivals for each other. But obviously, as this kind of clash has become inevitable, then it's got a little bit personal along the way. I did like the thing that Isaac Chamberlain put in the Hackney Gazette, the CV. It's pretty fun. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but if you haven't, have a look at it. It's quite amusing. And then obviously Okolie went there with his burger van, to Brixton, to the gym, arguing with Ted Bammy. So they're doing what to hype it up. They're getting people are very interested for two relative novices. Now, as professionals, as I said, they've had very few fights. They both got quite good experience though outside of that. Now, Lawrence Okolie obviously was with Team GB, went to Rio. That's good experience. It's a very good setup there. They've obviously got Rob McCracken as the head coach, who for me is one of the best coaches in the UK. They've got good funding. He would have, from basically quite early on in his boxing career, in terms of being there at least, he would have had a good discipline and a good sense of professionalism, good understanding of nutrition and all this stuff. So he's had quite a good advantage in that. Obviously, as a cruiserweight, from what I can see, most of the best cruiserweights in the world are from Eastern Europe, Russia. So as an amateur, Cuba, obviously all these sort of Cuba amateur boxers, that he would have fought against some quite good people. You know what I mean? So he's had some pretty decent experience as an amateur, even though he hasn't had that long an amateur career. He still would have seen quite a lot, fought against some pretty skilled people over the years. So, he's bringing that to the table. Obviously, he works quite closely with Anthony Joshua. He's done a lot of sparring with him. Not sure who else really he sparred with around the UK, but probably some pretty decent people. Isaac Chamberlain, he's, again, quite relatively inexperienced as a pro, but in terms of sparring, he's been in some very good company. He's been out there sparring with Deontay Wilder, preparing him for fights out there in America. He does a lot of work with Alexander Usyk. Sparred with Anthony Joshua, is obviously based in Brixton, whereas Miguel's gym. There's a lot of good fighters there, but Dylan White, for example. So he's, he would have picked up quite a lot. So he's sort of wise beyond his years, in a sense. Now, obviously going out there to America to train with Wilder and all that kind of team and setup, that's going to, well, I mean, to be honest with you, I suppose we'll get to that in a bit, but sparring with Wilder, it's probably quite good preparation for someone like Okolie. Obviously going out there with Alexander Usyk and that team, that Ukrainian setup, which is very, very good. Obviously Usyk's trainer being Lomachenko's dad, very, very successful in the Olympics. So you'd think he would have picked up quite a few tricks along the way. In terms of the fight itself, in terms of the fight itself, I think this is it's a difficult one to pick, because we haven't really seen enough of them, and they're both very underdeveloped in terms of what they're going to become. They both look talented, and they both bring different attributes to the table, but you couldn't really say with any real conviction who's going to win this based on that. To be honest, I think that I'm going with Lawrence Okolie. I think that at this point, what he brings to the table is going to be more difficult for Chamberlain to deal with than the other way around. I think Isaac Chamberlain is very good. He's got very good movement. He's got a good defence, but he's only had like about 10 fights. So I think that defence that he has, that looks really talented, it looks like it can really develop into something quite special. It's still got a few holes in it. Obviously, it hasn't had enough professional fights, in my opinion, for it to really reach his potential. So he's quite slick. He's quite good defense, even on the front foot. He's got very good movement. He's very well balanced when he moves about. Picks his shots well. He works the body quite well. He's obviously tough as well, and he's got a lot of heart. We saw in the Wadi Camacho fight when his shoulder popped out. So he's going to be in there. You're going to have to knock him out to beat him. You're not going to intimidate. You're not going to hit him a couple of times and just take the fight out of him. But I've seen him fight against, I don't know who, I can't remember the bloke's name, but he's really tall, very long reach. And don't get me wrong, Chamberlain stopped him after about 3 rounds. But I did notice that when the bloke was just sort of using his range, he did find it quite difficult to close the distance. I mean, he didn't, because there wasn't really that much coming back at him. But in terms of judging it, he kind of left himself. He came a bit short a few times. And I think against someone like Lawrence Okolie, one thing that Okolie does very well, he's got good reach, and he's got quite a wide stance. He's got quite sort of long legs as well, and he's just got a very good little. He can just take a little step back and then hit you with that right hand, and he does that very effectively over the top. He's very fast, and he can. It's not particularly complicated. It's not like he's doing anything that exceptional that you're looking at, but just that little ability, that little step back he does, and he times it very well. So with the range advantage that he has, that little step back, bang, right hand, I think it's been quite difficult for Isaac Chamberlain to avoid for the whole fight. Now we don't know how good his chin is. I mean, he's sparring people like Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. You think he's at least used to getting hit quite hard. So it's not like he's going to go in there and do you know what I mean? He's never been hit hard before. But obviously this big crowd, local derby, it's going to be very, very intense in there. Obviously smaller gloves, no headgear. Lawrence Okolie, he's very powerful. So that for me is what I think is going to be difficult for Chamberlain to avoid. Also, Lawrence Okolie, he mixes up his punches pretty well. He's got very good straight punches, but he's got quite a good variety. So he's not really that predictable. You know what I mean? He kind of is predictable. There's not really much you can do about it, because he's getting you from all angles. He'll get you like body shots, uppercuts, over the top. They're coming in from all. He's very aggressive as well. So he's not that easy to defend against him. Do you know what I mean? It's not just a case of just watch out for that right hand, because he's got a good jet coming with the hooks to the body. He mixes it up well, head, body. Do you know what I mean? Step back. He controls the distance very well, Lawrence Okolie. Now, people have said that his style's a bit awkward. It doesn't look very good. Sometimes he gets a bit reckless, but he does control the range very well, from what I can see. Really, just with the quick feet, and he's got good anticipation. You know what I mean? He seems to be always ready for it. Now, we haven't seen him fight anyone as skillful as Isaac Chamberlain, so maybe that controlling the range that I've seen him do so well is going to be put to the test a lot. Well, not maybe, it absolutely will be put to the test a lot more in this fight. And Chamberlain, obviously, he's quite good at lateral movement. He's going to need to use some good angles coming in, and he's going to really need to watch out for the timing. He can't just be sort of leaping in. He's got to kind of duck under, do his best to get in. On the inside, I think Chamberlain's good on the inside. Okolie, he's not bad on the inside. Do you know what I mean? He's got good body shots, and I don't know. I don't see it as a case of all he's got to do is get on the inside, and Lawrence Okolie's just some one-trick pony. All he can do is those long range. No, I don't see. If it gets on the inside, I think it's very interesting. I think then it's difficult to pick. I think from range, you've got to give it to Okolie because he's got very fast. He's got a very fast 1-2, very fast jab. As I say, that little step back, right hand counter. He's got like the sort of cuffing punches around the side as well. So I think look, Isaac Chamberlain, who's a more skillful boxer, people would say, and he's got more. He's sort of slick. He's a bit more. I don't really know what the word is, but he looks better looking at what he does. It's more kind of textbook. Well, not even necessarily textbook, but he just looks more coordinated and he looks more balanced the way he moves. But I don't think he's going to have much success from range. He's going to have exceptional timing for him to do that. Because Okolie's got the range, he's got the speed, and he's got accuracy as well. So, yeah, Chamberlain's best bet is to get on the inside. I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, we don't know how tough Lawrence Okolie is. I've got a feeling that he's going to be pretty tough, mentally at least. I don't know physically like how well he can take a punch, but he definitely, to me, seems very ambitious. He seems very focused. I don't think he's going to be the type to crumble. Now, he spends a lot of time with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, we know, is one of the most composed people in British boxing in terms of dealing with pressure and the crowd. He just doesn't care. Do you know what I mean? He's just totally relaxed. I think a lot of that would rub off on Lawrence Okolie, even if it's not natural for him. I think he's going to go into it very relaxed. I think more so than Isaac Chamberlain. Don't get me wrong, I don't think Isaac Chamberlain's going to sort of crumble under the pressure or anything like that. But I really get the impression from Okolie that he's just very, very driven, focused on a goal, and I can just see him just having tunnel vision in this, whereas Isaac Chamberlain possibly going to be more swayed by the crowd, more taken off his game. I mean, the atmosphere in there is going to be very, very intense. Do you know what I mean? You got in London, you've got obviously Chamberlain from Brixton, Okolie from Hackney. They're both going to have a lot of support. Like a British domestic fight's always intense, and it's going to be it's going to be difficult to keep your composure in that, I think. So I'm going for Lawrence Okolie. I don't know, I'm not really that confident on when it's going to. I don't really have a clear idea, but I just think that Lawrence Okolie is going to win. I think possibly, but probably by knockout late on. I think Chamberlain is tough enough and he's elusive enough, and he's sort of been around the ring enough, mainly like in sparring and stuff, admittedly, but I just think he's going to have enough to make it competitive. I do see it being very competitive, but I think Lawrence Okolie with that right hand, eventually I think he's going to catch him. And that's how I see it going. One thing I do like, I like the fact that Eddie Hearn has said that whoever does lose this fight, they're still going to get opportunities in the future with Matchroom. That's good to hear, because obviously they're putting it on the line. They don't need to do this. So you don't want to see one of them sort of lose and just then have to really struggle to get their way back into the public eye again, because obviously they've taken this opportunity. They're on Sky, and everyone is giving them credit for making the fight happen. So yeah, that's good. So it's not the end of the world losing this. Very early on in their career. I mean, Chris Eubank lost to Billy Joe Saunders. James DeGale lost to George Groves very early on. Both of them have gone on, especially James DeGale went on to become world champion. So it's not the end of the world in terms of the career losing this fight. Obviously, it's going to be devastating to them because it's both Londoners don't like each other, but they'll be able to bounce back. So yeah, that's my prediction. I think that Lawrence Okolie by late stoppage. Let me know what you think. Really looking forward to this one. Thank you very much for watching.